A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. This is the Media News. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories: NKOMBO apologizes as KALABA urges government to formalize KACHASU brewing. President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA challenged to lift the oath of secrecy on the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
The Media News in detail. The Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security has disclosed that they have made progress in investigations involving a mobile money agent, Pamela Chisompa. Minister in charge, Jack Mwimbu, has disclosed that police have apprehended 8 suspects to help in the ongoing investigations relating to the abduction case of Pamela Chisompa, aged 22. During a press briefing, Mr. Mwimbu says 8 suspects are linked to other cases which include mobile money scams, theft in motor vehicles, as well as drug-related crimes. In addition, the minister has expressed concern about the careless use of social media by some citizens. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwimbu has assured the general public that the Zambia police is doing everything possible to address every crime in the country. Details in this report.
Matter comes to rest and perpetrators brought to book. I wish to inform the nation that the police have since recovered 2 dual SIM mobile phones belonging to the victim. Furthermore, police have apprehended 8 suspects to help with the ongoing investigations. The 8 suspects are also linked to other cases which include mobile money scams, theft from motor vehicles, and drug-related crimes. Fearing that other people are now fabricating stories which are not credible. And such stories are not assisting the nation in resolving the alleged matters of kidnappings in this country. Where citizens exercise their rights and freedoms, it is essential for every citizen to enjoy these liberties with responsibility. Lately, social media has been flooded with derogatory statements against the head of state and statements that have potential to generate ethnic agitation. Such personal expressions go beyond the rights and freedoms the state, under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, has provided.
Opposition Democratic Party President KALABA has advised government to work with the KACHASU brewers in formalizing the sector. Speaking to Camnet TV when he visited Garden Compound Wednesday afternoon, Mr. KALABA explains that KACHASU brewing has been there and that cannot be ignored for being one of the main sources of income for some people. He adds that government should emulate countries like Uganda who have benefited from this sector by formalizing it. Meanwhile, Mr. KALABA has condemned the act by Minister of Local Government and Rural Development NKOMBO's way of enforcing the law, acknowledging that while the act of KACHASU brewing is illegal, no human deserves such kind of treatment.
the topic of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Lilian Siuni, entering a nolle prosequi in a matter involving former Konkola Copper Mines liquidator Milingo Lungu on charges of theft and money laundering, has sparked a lot of debate among stakeholders. Divergent views have also emerged over his alleged granting of immunity, with the head of state distancing himself from the issue of Mr. Lungu having been granted immunity. Various sectors of society have been demanding for the resignation of the DPP on moral grounds. In a letter dated 25th April 2022 addressed to the Judicial Complaints Commission, the DPP has indicated that she is seeking clearance from the head of state for the oath of secrecy to be lifted so that she can clear herself from the allegations. The New Heritage Party feels that this should be granted so as to clear the existing debate. Party President Mr. Shalakateka was speaking to Camnet News.
Because the nation has been asking.
What started as a normal operation day within his mandate, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, has become a hot topic of the day in Zambia. KACHASU brewing is an illegality that has stood the test of time, with no hope of phasing out despite many attempts by the authority to do so. This distillation industry is big and exists in almost all provinces, with the famous being Chivolia compound in Lusaka, Kalea in Mazabuka Southern Province, among other areas. Tuesday, an attempt to stop this illegality in Lusaka's garden compound has resulted in many theories, of which some can be adopted. An opposition Democratic Party president, Harry KALABA, visited garden compound and says government needs to educate KACHASU brewers and hopefully formalize the sector.
One of the things that the government should consider seeing how they can work with these same illegal distillers of KACHASU and see how they can make them legal. In Uganda, there was a beer called Waraji. Waraji is like KACHASU. And the government worked with the people like these ones here to begin making them. They formed cooperatives to begin making some alcohol which was legitimate. Today, Waraji in Uganda, Waraji is sold in ShopRite. Waraji is sold at the various markets, various business outlets. It's because government worked with them. Our government should be proactive. They should begin working with these people, begin making them legal. They will even start getting money from them. Yes. So they need to be taken through stages by stages, because KACHASU has been around for a very long time. Yes. So we need to see how well we can work within the law to make KACHASU become a product that cannot be frowned upon.
Mr. KALABA, however, acknowledges that KACHASU brewing is illegal, but notes that the minister's conduct towards that family was brutal.
The minister's conduct was not only, the minister's conduct was not right. I think it was very brutal. I think that kind of behavior was inhuman and very barbaric, to say the least. Such should not be done. Bantu beswaba. Mabanga tuwe batitikisha. Istwala kwisa. Kwala kwisa. Abaye bantu utira kuba kalika punishment balondolo na process. Mtu achipiri okuba. Bantu na bena. Bautira nga baishi lepa kwiro kwikana na bantu. So it's important that our government, they should do this thing within the framework of bringing everybody on board.
Meanwhile, KACHASU brewing was ongoing as usual 24 hours after the raid. Clearly, it will take a lot to clear this industry.
Vamina chita kulivana masiye kuliwa chani. Jamine tima sungira bana ise. Tima chita kwa office work. Tiripe bili bonse. Jama metima jerako ise. Kulimafuto kulumani kwa machikya zona. Kulimwana alia basitiza kutali kwanji. Hata kutaka mwamanzi basa azezereka. So wampeleka.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka. Well, in other news, New Heritage Party President Chishala Kateka has called on President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to grant the lifting of the oath of secrecy on the Director of Public Prosecutions so as to put an end to the ongoing debate concerning her office. In an interview, Party President Chishala Kateka says the move will also enhance transparency in the United Party for National Development administration in its fight for accountability. Director of Public Prosecutions Lilian Siuni has sought clearance from the head of state to defend herself in a matter she is accused of granting immunity to former Konkola Copper Mines KCM liquidator Milingo Lungu.
The topic of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Lillian's Uni, entering a nolle prosecutor in a matter involving former Konkola Copper Mines liquidator Milingo Lungu on charges of theft and money laundering has sparked a lot of debate among stakeholders. Divergent views have also emerged over his alleged granting of immunity, with the head of state distancing himself from the issue of Mr. Lungu having been granted immunity. Various sectors of society have been demanding for the resignation of the DPP on moral grounds. In a letter dated 25th April 2022 addressed to the Judicial Complaints Commission, the DPP has indicated that she is seeking clearance from the head of state for the oath of secrecy to be lifted so that she can clear herself from the allegations. The New Heritage Party feels that this should be granted so as to clear the existing debate. Party President Mr. Shalakateka was speaking to Camnet News.
Because the nation has been asking a lot of questions in a story that seems to leave more questions than answers. As people explain, more questions are raised than answers. And for us to know the truth, we believe that, look, the DPP has her side to say. She's got a story to tell. And it would be very, very beneficial for the sake of the nation if the president allows her oath of secrecy to be lifted. You see, should he not agree to that, more questions will be raised and more doubt will be cast on the stories that we have been given so far.
Meanwhile, Third Liberation Movement Party President Mr. Enoch Tonga has also added his voice.
What good is there if this so-called oath of secrecy is done to protect crooks and criminals? What good is there if this so-called oath of secrecy is done to allow politicians holding public office to cut deals with the crooks? It is totally unacceptable. Mind you, that these individuals holding public political offices, they are there to protect the interest of the people of Zambia.
Stakeholders are eager to see how the case will end, as some expressed that the matter will be a test of the new administration's fight against irregularities. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia's for Sustainable Development President Lazarus Chisela says increasing production in the country is key to achieving the desired economic stability in the country. In an interview, Mr. Chisela explains that despite the United Party, the National Development Administration expressing hope of reviving the economy in anticipated of the International Monetary Fund bailout package, no change will be witnessed without investing in production. He has also challenged the party in government to give a clear breakdown on how it intends to reduce the cost of living.
This is why we must be very careful on that one, because what we need in Zambia, what I expect from the President of Zambia to look at is production. Now, what are the main areas of production that the government should look at? Is it producing a pair of shoes? Is it producing a computer? Is it producing, a camera or what? No. We have to look at our comparative advantage. What is our comparative advantage in Zambia? Our comparative advantage is agriculture. When we invest a lot, I expected the president to talk about agriculture. Being a person that have gone from a village where they were concentrating on agriculture, I expected him to talk about that. That's what we have as our comparative advantage. I wanted him to put up a roadmap of how we are going to use agriculture to emancipate Zambia from poverty. Right now, what we have is we are very lucky as Zambians because we already have the structure for agriculture. We have all national services and they have got vast land which we can use for agriculture. This is what I wanted the president to talk about, to say we are going to invest our energy, our effort in agriculture. Because if we invest a lot in agriculture, if this government invests a lot in agriculture, we are going to reduce the price of meal. Immediately reduce the price of food on the table, then you are creating employment. You are creating, jobs for the other people. You are actually creating job security.
Finally, in the news, the Zambia Statistics Agency has indicated that the country's annual inflation rate for the month of April 2022 has slowed down to 11.5% from 13.1% recorded in March this year. Zamsta's interim statistician general Mulenga Musepa says the slowdown in the annual inflation rate was mainly attributed to a base effect of both food and non-food items. Mr. Mulenga says Copperbelt province contributed the highest to the annual inflation rate at 3.2 percentage points, seconded by Lusaka province, which contributed 3%, while Northwestern and Western provinces had the lowest contribution at 0.5% and 0.4% respectively.
The road to economic recovery in Zambia starts with a stabilized local currency, lower inflation rate, liquidity in the economy, debt restructuring, affordable prices of goods and services, among other things. While the United Party for National Development Administration has an agenda of ensuring that the high cost of living is tabled, the country has begun to record some positive sentiments such as lower inflation rate. The Zambia Statistical Agency Wednesday told the media that the country's inflation rate has further slowed down to 11.5% in the month of April 2022, compared to 13.1% recorded in March of this year.
We have recorded a slowdown of inflation, annual inflation, to 11.5% in April from 14.1% in March 2022. So what we are saying is that the general level of prices increased by 11.5%. The general level of prices increased by 11.5%. However, compared to the previous
Mr. Msepa also informed the media that the local currency appreciated by 20% between April 2021 and April 2022 from 22.11 kwacha per 1 United States dollar to 17.62 kwacha per 1 United States dollar. He says the appreciation of the local currency has contributed to the reduction in the price of vehicles and air tickets.
And recently more of some stability, and that being an import-dependent economy has had some downward price impact on some of the non-food items such as vehicle prices and airline fares.
And Mr. Msepa says the country recorded a trade surplus of 5.98 billion kwacha in March of 2022. A trade surplus means the country exported more than it imported.
Exports, if you break it down into traditional exports, which is mainly copper, both refined and copper concentrates, increased by 6.4% to 14.2 billion in March 2022, while non-traditional exports, mainly comprising oil cake, electrical energy, this is electricity exports, we had to Zimbabwe and Namibia, increased by 18.9% to 4.4 billion in March 2022.
With the launch of the Public-Private Dialogue Forum for Private Sector and Economic Development by President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, it is hoped that the country's private sector trade will be enhanced, thereby contributing to job creation and the development of the country. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, that item ends our midday news. The headlines once again. NKOMBO apologizes as Harry KALABA urges government to formalize KACHASU. President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA challenged to lift the oath of secrecy on the Director of Public Prosecutions. Well, thank you so much for choosing Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good afternoon.
Ready? Ready?
Earlier this week, visiting United States of visiting United States Africa Command Brigadier General Peter Bailey, Deputy Director for Strategy, Engagement and Programs, when he paid a courtesy call on Republican President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, he announced that the United States government will open the Africa Command, AFRICOM, and Office of Security Cooperation at the United States Embassy in Zambia. However, this has raised questions among concerned parties who are wondering about the advancements in military ties between Zambia and the United States. In a historical context, late former Republican President Patrick Mwanawasa rejected America's plans to set up the U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM base in Zambia, citing the protection of national sovereignty. Although the new relations do not constitute the setting up of a base, but based on security cooperation, enhancing military-to-military relations, and expanding areas of cooperation in force management and modernization, Economic and Equity Party President Chilufya Tayari has raised concerns. He believes that the move does not favor Zambia in any way. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka. Take 2. Earlier this week, visiting United States of America, Africa Command, Brigadier General Peter Bailey, Deputy Director for Strategy, Engagement and Programs, when he paid a courtesy call on Republican President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA at State House, announced that the United States government will open the Africa Command, AFRICOM, an Office of Security Cooperation at the U.S. Embassy in Zambia. However, this has raised questions among concerned parties who are among citizens who are wondering. However, this has raised questions among stakeholders who are wondering about the advancements in military ties between Zambia and the United States. In a historical context, late former President Patrick Mwanawasa rejected America's plans to set up a U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM base in Zambia, citing protection of national sovereignty. Although the new relation does not constitute the setting up of a base, but based on security cooperation, enhancing military-to-military relations, and expanding areas of cooperation in force management and modernization, Economic and Equity Party President Chilufya Tayari raised concerns. He believes that the move does not favor Zambia in any way. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka. Okay, done. 28% of government revenues in 2019. I'm ready. Africa, as Africa's second largest copper producer, of copper, Zambia is highly dependent on mining, which accounted for 77% of total export earnings and 28% of government revenues in 2019. This sector is dominated by foreign ownership, and the participation of Zambians has been poor, and the provision of services to this sector is mostly done by foreign firms. Recently, we spoke to Minister of Mines and Mineral Development, Paul Kabuswe, who affirmed the United Party for National Development Administration's commitment to empower citizens to become active and proactive sector players. Government targets to reach 3 million tons of the government targets to reach 3 million tons of annual copper production in the next 10 years, but the indigenous Zambians lobby group president Lawrence Makumbi has challenged the government to facilitate the enactment of the local content bill if it is serious about enhancing local participation in the mining sector. It says Zambia can only be developed by Zambians, hence the government needs to take deliberate steps by putting in place the right policies to steer citizen-driven development. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka. Okay, done.
Wakalamba ndero mba munchiteko record. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Pastor Stone Muluso. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on the ministry with his guest, Pastor Stone Muluso from the Kingdom of Eswatini, as they discuss the church and development. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on the ministry with his guest, Pastor Stone Muluso from the Kingdom of Eswatini, as they discuss the church and development. Don't miss Friday 28th April 2022. Okay, another one. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on the ministry. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on the ministry with his guest, Pastor Stone Muluso from the Kingdom of Eswatini, as they discuss the church and development. Don't miss this Friday 28th April 2022. Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on the ministry with his guest, Pastor Stone Muluso from the Kingdom of Eswatini, as they discuss the church and development. Don't miss Friday 28th April 2022. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, I missed your call. That's sorry, I missed your call. The driver is calling me outside. Yeah. You want what?